One, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
She's been missing since February, and there are no articles. You guys want to hear something messed up? Summer Wills has been missing for quite some time, since February. She's a 13-year-old girl from Portland, Oregon, and literally there is nothing on her. I can't even find a stinking article. A friend of mine sent me this photo about this missing child out of Portland, Oregon, and when I went to do just the minimal research, there was nothing. I have to be honest, I was shocked. Literally not one article on this missing 13-year-old girl out of Portland, Oregon. So I am advocating right now for this beautiful 13-year-old girl out of Portland, Oregon that's been missing since February. I have no details on her case. I have no idea where specifically she disappeared, what happened to her. Even on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, have no details related to her case. that breaks my heart.
How you doing, sir? I'm good. How are you? Good.
Hey guys, I have been covering the Riley Strain case all day today, trying to give you guys up-to-date information. Since it's taking a little time for my lives to download, I decided just to put together a video so you guys can get to see this. This is his path of travel, but right up in here is where we're learning that he had some contact with law enforcement officers, probably right around here.
How you doing, sir? I'm good. How are you? Good.
And that was at 9:50, and then we see him on the camera also around this area at 9:52, and that's the last time we saw him. And of course, as you see here, the last time his cell phone pinged right in the same area was even 6 minutes later. What happened to Riley Strain, we don't know, but something happened right in and around this area here. So it's very concerning that law enforcement still has not found him. Check out this latest clip from law enforcement. If you absolutely love the content you're getting here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America. And more importantly, God bless our victims. Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube and X. It's nice to see you here this beautiful hump day as you guys are sliding into your weekend. I know after today, we only have 2 more days. Only 2 more days. You guys are halfway there. You guys are halfway there, okay? Don't give up hope yet. The weekend is coming. The weekend is coming. It is nice to see everybody. We've got a lot of stuff to go over. I don't know how you guys are going to take the information, what you think the information is. We have the phones open. So as I'm talking about stuff, if something pops in your head, if there's something you want to explore, if there's something that you think, call it in. I'm sure if you're thinking it, other people in the chat are thinking it. Mama Lava is in the house. It's nice to see you, followed by our beautiful Teresa. Good morning, Sherry. It's nice to see you. Our beautiful Sonia, which makes our beautiful shirts, such as Silence is an Answer to Bullhorn Betty. We're always wearing something special that Sonia created. If you guys have your own custom stuff, please hit Sonia up. She's got the stuff. We sell stuff around here. We just don't sell the substances. We sell the items. No. Medgas guy, it's nice to see you. It's been a little minute, so it's nice to see you, my love. Guidance is up in the house. Our beautiful Betty fan is rocking it out with her coffee beans out. Elsie's up in the house. Net, it's nice to see you. Gigi for life. Good morning, my love bugs. Who else do we have? I see Cynthia here. Honey Dip. Good morning, my loves. The real me too. Dun, 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 dun. Joanne, Naomi, is it Naomi? if I said it wrong, sorry. It's a problem here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. You're gonna have to get used to it, but I'll get it right eventually. I still think I'm calling Shannon Sharon. Who knows? Joanne, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Who else do we have? Crafty Chris is up in the house. Just Deb. We have a new member. Taryn, it's nice to see you. Thank you for being the newest member of this crazy group we call the Coffee Club. You know, we started calling ourselves the Coffee Club early in the morning, but it just sticks because we drink coffee all day long. We're ridiculously crazy about our coffee. Second thesis, it's nice to see you. I'm that bee mama bear. Good morning. It's nice to see you. Christina, good morning. Jolie, it's nice to see you. Cass, love it. Hindsight's up in the house. It's nice to see everyone. I hope you're having a great day. As we know, Riley Strain has not been found. Okay. He disappeared on March 8th. He was out with his frat brothers, and they said the story was he got kicked out of the bar. We're learning more details about the whole bar situation. So a lot of us, we knew that or at least assumed, he went to a couple bars prior to getting to Luke's 32. I mean, he was in pretty rough condition, and I know a lot of people think he may be oofied, and that hasn't been excluded. It's not off the table. There is possibility that something was introduced to his drink or into his body without his knowledge. Okay, there is that there. But we have to take the mindset this is a fraternity. We dealt with this with the Idaho 4, lots of alcohol. Okay, lots of alcohol for these fraternities. This is not uncommon for us to deal with. They were just at their hotel, which was 3 blocks away from where he ended up being removed from the property. And then we're finding out he really wasn't removed from the property. So they left their hotel. Now, I don't know how many other bars they hit. I think they hit more than 2. Okay, that's just my personal belief. But so far, I can only corroborate Luke's 32 and Friends in Low Places Bar and Honky Tonk, which is owned by Garth Brooks. So Garth Brooks' bar they were at before they went over to Luke's 32. They get over to Luke's 32. He has a cocktail and then proceeds to order water, most likely because they probably said, no, we can't serve him. But everybody wanted to know what event surrounded Riley to make him leave. It sounds like it really wasn't an event. It doesn't sound like he was being rude to anybody, obnoxious to anybody, or anything like that. From my understanding, it sounds like they just had a conversation, and it was, the conversation went basically like, maybe you've had enough for the night. And he was like, yeah, you're probably right. So it was one of those types of things versus you're being a real distraction here in the bar. We need you to leave, sir. Big difference. So it sounds like it was just a conversation, and he just decided, he had enough, and it was time for him to go back to his hotel. And I think I think this is a simple thing of him just taking the wrong turn out of the bar and him not having anybody there with him to guide him. And I just think he got so turned around, he didn't know where he was. That's just, what my observations are, because you could see him like doing this, this turn right there by where he crossed the street with those other people. He kind of drunkenly turns around. And everybody's talking about this split second thing with this officer, when he was saying, hey, he was kind of running up the incline. And then he slows down when he sees the cop, and he's like, hey, and the cop's like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, I'm doing good. How are you? Or something like that. He sounded drunk to me, guys. I'm sorry. He was walking. He had been walking the whole time, not very well, but he had been walking. So being able to pull yourself together for a split second encounter with law enforcement, I kind of wish he would have said, hey, I'm kind of lost. Can you help me? That would have been, really good, but he didn't. So A whole host of people are kind of sucked into this case. I wasn't even going to cover it, and again, I just happened to catch. I was doing some research and just needed a break, and I saw Justin for All. He was live, and there was a lot of information coming in, and I just naturally, I'm hearing him say, "Where's this? Where's that?" And I do research, so I'm like, "Here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go," type of stuff. And so as I was reading it, it was kind of sucking me into this case. And I'm like, this is really not making sense. We do this stuff a lot, and we're looking at this case, and we very rarely have a tight timeline. I mean, we very, very, very rarely have a tight timeline. Not only do we have a tight timeline, we have like a tight timeline up to a 6-minute window. A 6-minute window and literally a half block radius. A 6-minute window and a half block radius. Now, law enforcement are starting to introduce, well, maybe he turned around and we just didn't see him on the camera, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. He missed all the cameras? All the cameras. He missed them all. I mean, we're not talking about one camera here. You're telling me that he just happened to turn around and walk past every single camera undetected, being Big Bird out there, being a spectacle, completely inebriated. Missed all the cameras coming back. Okay, well, I'm going to say that's, to me, improbable. So now we're stuck with a situation where this kid was walking on a path going to a very bad area. That's what happened. He ended up, I think what happened is he turned, I think that's what's being implied here. He left the bar, he made the wrong turn, he went into the wrong location, and this location is littered with homeless people, littered with drugs, open substance abuse use right in the public. The girls that are out there that found the card talk about, puncture type utensils being used, and they have to be very careful because they don't want to get pricked. That's the kind of environment he walked into. Okay. It was like a kitten being fed to a pack of wolves. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm analyzing this. I'm looking at this. I'm saying, hey, I don't care if law enforcement can be pissed off at Bullhorn Betty. It won't be the first time. It probably won't be the last. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I step on toes. I'm a proud, problematic woman. Okay. The problem is law enforcement is sitting here now. We have common sense. Okay, this is what law enforcement can't stand about human beings when they really want us out of a case. But we have this thing called common sense. We have this thing that even if we don't know a specific, a specific topic or an expert in something, we have this thing called common sense that helps us work through some difficult and challenging scenarios and other things. We have gut instincts, which keeps us out of a lot of pickles, right? So don't think that we don't have and we're not equipped instinctually with certain things. And I'd like to refer to that collectively, okay, as common sense. And when you tell us that this boy is in these cameras and you give us all this information and we can track his every single movement up to a 6-minute window in a half block radius, and you tell us you can't find him, and you have this huge search party in the water's not the Grand Rapids, and you can't find him. And we have to have our TikTokers go in there and our mainstream media go in there to try to figure out what's going on. I'm not disrespecting cops because we know cops keep this stuff close to their chest and they're not going to tell the public, right? So we know that. We expect that from them. So you know what law enforcement expects from us? They expect us to stick our nose where it doesn't belong, so they have to try to tamper that down. I get it. I get it. We all have our job to do. We all, I think, try to do it well. But the bottom line is we have this thing called common sense. And when you tell us that this boy disappeared in a 6-minute window in a half block radius, but you can't find him in 2 freaking weeks. But hey, let's not talk about foul play. It doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. I don't think it works for the audience. I don't think it works for the public at large. because we have this thing called common sense, and we are saying, make it make sense to us. If you don't want us talking about this foul play scenario, explain to me why you feel it's not foul play. And this, we don't have evidence of it not being foul play. It's not good enough for me. Okay, I don't like word salad. I don't like it. But we've been around the block a time or two. Many of us are fairly educated in this topic of criminal investigation. We may not be investigators, but we understand the process. We follow the process. We monitor the process. We watch the process. We bring the process here to people on social media. So you can't tell us on one hand that this man disappeared, because we all know if he's right there, he will be found. He's not found. Where is he? Even no matter how you look at it, from being robbed to being having a medical event to him having an accident that injured him gravely, he should be right there. He's not. Now, let's talk about the water. Let's talk about the flow of water downstream. There is a flow, okay? It's a river, okay? Rivers don't get their name by being still bodies, okay? It's a river. It flows. A river is flowing to a larger body of water, typically, okay? So you have this kid that might be in the water. We've had sonar equipment, boat after boat, huge search efforts, huge water search efforts. Now we have the Cajun Navy coming in to do additional supportive work in the water and on the ground. Very thankful for them. I'm hoping that they find, but if the Cajun Navy comes in and they can't find anything, guys, I'm sorry. I don't care. We're going to start going down the path of foul play. I honestly think that we're missing an opportunity to go down this path of foul play. And I think we're preventing a lot of information from coming forward because we're being told by law enforcement not to go down the path of foul play just yet. I think we're losing a lot of ground. That's just me personally. So now we have the fact that this boy disappeared in a half-block radius in a 6-minute window. Nobody's seen him since that day. No credit card use. And then we find out TikTokers are out there where a credit card should not be. This credit card has no debris on it. Okay, let me explain this to you. When we were out there in Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park and we came across Gabby Petito's water bottle, that water bottle had been out there. I don't know how long it had been out there. We know that Brian was out there for 4 or 5 weeks before he was found. He disappeared on the 15th, between the 13th and the 15th of September, and I think he was found on October 20th or 19th or somewhere around there. So you're talking about at least 4 weeks. Okay, 4 weeks. Now this is a little different. This is only 2 weeks, but I had to assume that bottle had been out there for a month. Now, mind you, you're talking about dew sitting on that bottle. It had caked on grass. I mean, it just had like dirt, like dust that just settled on the dew, and the dew would dry, and it sealed the dirt on the bottle. Like the bottle was not clean. It was filthy. It was absolutely filthy and covered in grass, and almost, outside of just getting a glimpse of the top of that water bottle, that yellow tip of the water bottle, it blended in with the surroundings. You didn't see it. It was literally covered in grass. So when the TikToker indicates how clean the card is, the light bulb in my head goes off. She's right. There was rain there. They had a rainstorm after Riley disappeared. They had, wind and debris and people tromping around and dust from the cars above and all of this stuff. And there wasn't a stitch of dust on this card. Like it had been out there for a couple weeks. It was almost pristine and fresh, as if it was just laid there. That's concerning. So now we have this credit card in this weird, peculiar spot. Now, granted, it doesn't show foul play. It could be a number of things, but how did it get there? And then now we're finding out this morning. Well, and then yesterday, the other thing was he came into contact with that law enforcement officer, which there's nothing really to see there. The officer would have never known he was as intoxicated as he was in that brief interaction. Therefore, the officer couldn't have, engaged any further in whatever. He looked normal for that split second the officer had to deal with him, just going in the wrong direction. But the officer didn't know that. So we have that. We have the card, and now we're finding out that the battery on his cell phone did not die. So how did his phone get turned off? Now, again, this is on the heels of them saying there's no foul play. There's no foul play involved. I hate when people come out there and give people a false sense of security, especially when it's in a tourist area. It drives me absolutely nuts because trust me, let me just tell this for all the city officials out there. When somebody wants to go to Nashville, I'm sorry. Some people may believe this or not believe this. You can it may make somebody mad. If somebody wants to go to Nashville, unfortunately, they're not going to care that somebody is missing. They're going to go. So this whole thing that you have to, worry about the integrity of your area, that by telling us we're going to just not go someplace. I'm sorry, human beings are human beings, and by default we're idiots. Okay. So most of us don't even know that there's somebody missing. We're not canceling our plans because somebody's missing. You don't have to worry about your tax dollars not coming in on your revenue from your tourism. Okay. So let's just start not worrying about tampering down news stories for your self-preservation, because I'm sure Nashville is going to be just fine. Let's start worrying about the victims and the potential victims, because if this kid was targeted, that means there's other potential victims in that community. And it really disturbs me because I believe in law enforcement, and they have to protect us. And sometimes protecting us means protecting us from the unknown. We don't know what happened to this boy. It could be foul play. It could be an accident. However, for the people out there in the community, we're going to want you to be extra vigilant while you're out in our community. Make sure you use a buddy system. Don't leave anybody alone. If you see a friend intoxicated, make sure that they get back. Start going through the procedures, okay? That's kind of what you do. Now, Nashville, I'm not familiar with working with you or any of your business practices or your policing practices or anything. I can just tell you from my opinion that this whole nothing to see over here is falling on deaf ears, and it's going to make people like me very angry, especially when we find out there is foul play and you have been deceiving your own community for a significant amount of time while you played with this story. That's really going to piss the people off. I'm just letting law enforcement know we don't like being played like that, and we don't like other people being potentially injured because of those foolish games. If there's a possibility of this being foul play, law enforcement needs to come over and come up and speak up and say there is a possibility. We haven't excluded it. But they won't do that. 2 years old, Joanne, 22, just a baby. Just a baby. He is literally half my age. Half my age. I could be his mother. It just angers me. It angers me. So we do have this stuff. He was intoxicated, guys. He would have been a target out there on the street. Somebody with nefarious means and a dying need to have a fix would have targeted him and would have had no problem. People out there on the streets will cut their own mother's throat to get a fix. Okay? It is a drug that I pray to God many of you never even understand. I don't understand it, but I know people that do, and what they describe is absolutely horrific. I don't know why anybody would put themselves through this, but apparently they do before they realize the damage they're actually doing to themselves. And that's the scary part about this. These substances,
Some of these people don't even know what the result of their actions are until it's too late. And by that time, again, it's too late. It's too late. These substances that these people are putting in their bodies, the survival rate is low, the recovery rate is low, and the relapse rate is through the roof. It's sad to watch. It's sad to watch. I can tell you, I had childhood trauma that kind of led me down the path that it led me down, and I had to fix that for myself. But the stuff that I was led down, it wasn't what we have this day and age. It just wasn't. And as much of a struggle as it was for what I went through to be here, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle every day. It's it's not something. I mean, I've been in recovery since 2007, and I can tell you, it hasn't been cakewalk. It's been hard, and I'm not on. I was never on substances like these people are this day and age. It was hard, but it wasn't undoable for me. And watching these people just going in and out, same people, they're trying, and they are. They don't want this lifestyle anymore. It's just the lifestyle has a hook in them and it won't let them go. And some people have, one recovery left in them, but they don't have another relapse, and they relapse and they're gone. It's sad. I think one of the saddest things that I've ever witnessed is somebody physically drinking themselves to death. I think that was one of the saddest things I've ever had to witness. That's years of slap misery, and that was my cousin. So it's rough. It's rough. And this is the area that he was going into. No weapons. Looks like a sweet boy. I mean, he looks like a tall little kitten. I'm sorry. When I look at him and I look at his face, he looks like a freaking baby to me. He could be going gaga goo goo. He looks like a baby to me. And to see, to have all of these things, like I can't even imagine his mother. I mean, seeing his mother just breaking down and just shaking and being uncontrolled and stuff, and just seeing that, we've seen that a lot. You guys know I've hugged a lot of moms' necks that are in her boat. And she, for me, is almost 10 times harder because it's the unknown. You don't know if somebody hurt your baby, or you don't know if he accidentally hurt himself. But he's hurt. She broke my heart when she said, "He's my best friend." Like I'm getting teary-eyed just saying that right now. I mean, it's a mom. I saw that face. I've seen that face 1,000 times. And when mom when mom gives up, I mean, she's not giving up. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say give up. I think that's a horrible word to use. When mom realizes, when mom knows. You saw it on her face yesterday. This is not good. And I'm getting goosebumps even talking about it because it is hard. You see that grief. You see that pain. There's nothing anybody is going to do to ever take that lady's pain away. And she, like many of our other family members that are a Gold Star family of the coffee club, right? I don't want to say that lightly. I don't want to diminish, Gold Star families for service, but we're the true crime, and these are the families that lost their precious. But that woman, and seeing her brokenness yesterday, she knew. She knows. Moms know. Moms have gut instincts. If she didn't think something bad happened to her son, she was uncontrollable. She could not say 2 words without crying. I saw an interview with a store clerk where Riley's mom came in and just begging anybody for any type of video footage. And he said she was so distraught and just crying. He said it broke his heart. Seeing her yesterday broke mine. Phone not turned off. Our phone forcibly turned off. I'm going to say forcibly because I don't think it died in the water. If I truly believe that phone was introduced in the water and it died, I would say that. But you know what? He had an iPhone 15, and apparently I have an iPhone 12, and mine doesn't go down near as deep as the 15. So you're talking about a phone that should not have gone dark, even in the water. Even in the water, should not have gone dark. But do you guys remember, and I know some of you guys do, some of you guys may not, Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney was a young girl that was at Placer Lake for a end of the year party. She was in thought. Give me just a second, caller, so I can switch over. This is Betty. Hold on just a second. Let me, can everybody hear the phone? I need to go down to the comments. Can you mute me in your background?
Hello.
Hello?
I've seen that face 1,000 times. Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you're going to need to turn me down in the background.
She's not getting up. Okay, hold on. I shouldn't say.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. I was just wondering why his friends didn't walk him back to the motel, and especially as drunk as he was.
Yeah, I think there was two parts. I think we need to realize that all the people in that party were intoxicated and not thinking clearly. And I was also thinking that, you know, he probably turned around and said, go back in. I'm just going to go back to the hotel. The hotel was literally 3 blocks away. He went the wrong direction. It was a, do we agree with their stuff? No, but I nobody could have thought this, but that's when things like this happen.
I think there's foul play here. Something is not right. If he took the wrong way and got sober up, he would have known that he was in the wrong area and to walk back.
But he didn't. I mean, we have him on videotape the entire time.
I think he was attacked.
Oh, I'm believing it's foul play, dear. You know, there's absolutely. I'm kind of getting frustrated that law enforcement is refusing to talk about that angle. But I believe this is what we heard. There was a homeless man that did an interview, and they focused on his tennis shoes. And in that interview, he said some critical things to me, some critical clues. He said there was a commotion behind him, and Riley had fallen into the bushes. And when he turned around, there was somebody with him that says he's intoxicated. He's okay. And I always said, you know, I there was something uneasy about that. And I kept wondering, you know, could he have been injured right then and there? And the attacker was like, he's just drunk. Just, you know, he's fine. You know?
Did you watch the video where he fell and hit his head?
Yep. And I also said something yesterday about, you know, where I was concerned about him possibly having a head injury. And maybe just keeling over and falling over a railing. But, you know, it's been all these days and they haven't found him. And I would assume if he had a medical event or an accidental event, they would have found him by now.
Or he might have fell in the water, because it was odd that 2 women found his bank card by the basement of the river.
Yeah.
If he was in water, river always runs downhill, and you can see that water is high.
Mm-hmm.
The current is sometimes higher up. Current, like it's higher up when the water is higher. That could have washed him all the way up to the next county. They're not even thinking of looking like in the next county over or farther up where the bank card was at.
Well, we have to also take into consideration when he's introduced into the water, the speed of how the water is going, and the speed is not really that it's not like a rapid speed, according to Chronicles of Olivia. Now, I haven't been out there, so I really don't know for myself. But we also have to think of his height and weight, and if that was the case, like if he were to be introduced into the water, how far that current could potentially take him. And the weight of him is going to be a factor in how far that current can pull him as well. So I don't really think but I could be wrong. My calculations could be wrong. I need to reach out to my uncle. He was part of the Navy, and he can kind of explain this to me a little better.
I just have a problem where his friends didn't walk him. I mean, yeah, they're intoxicated too. But here's the thing. He was overly intoxicated. He was dragging all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
What's odd is that the cop didn't even ask him, do you need help?
He didn't look like he was in need of help to even raise that concern, because he kind of, got himself together for that brief interaction. I don't know if anybody could think that there was anything weird or odd with his behavior when he passed that cop, because I didn't get any indication that he was in fear or he was being chased, or he was even in a situation where the officer could look at him and see that he was physically impaired. He didn't at that split second, he didn't look physically impaired for those few little seconds of encounterment.
Oh, as far as I had this background feeling, I don't see them find him alive.
Oh
And
no.
it's definitely afraid. If the head injuries, he smacked his head, smacked his head hard. And with a head injury or even a brain bleed, they could be finding him dead.
Oh yeah.
My heart goes out to the parents too, because they just wanted their son back home.
Yeah.
But I'm aware that he should not have drank that bad.
Yeah. But it happens all the time. It's expected with the university. As much as we try to prevent it, we know it's happening. We know it's going to continue to happen. And, we just try to hope, we pray to God that when it does happen, that our children are safe, or as safe as they can be. And this is a situation that just got out of control unintentionally. Nobody could have expected or foreseen this. I mean, I don't even think he realized he was walking into the mouth of the lion.
Yeah, he walked into an area in Nashville that is real bad with drugs and homeless people. I mean, you ever heard of the Sami drug?
Oh, yes, I have. The salts and stuff, and yes.
The fentanyl?
Yeah.
It makes you in a Sami-con state, but it's also a flesh-eating thing.
Ugh.
It actually eats your flesh.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. Well, I do appreciate your perspective, and thank you for calling in. And, there's a lot of twists and turns when it comes to this case, without a doubt. And I just pray to God that they find him. His mother deserves answers. She does. I just, my heart just.
I didn't even know, he's been gone for 2 weeks until I looked on my phone.
Yeah.
And that the last person I saw him actually alive was his friend that walked him down the steps.
Yeah.
And a cop. I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
right,
it's definitely to say we don't know how bad the head trauma is either. So,
no, we don't. But we did hear from law enforcement, the officer, and we were able to see him on the body cam footage. At least he didn't hit his head hard enough where it broke the skin and he was bleeding. Because we would have seen that head. There's something about head wounds that just gush blood, even superficial.
Even if you bump your head and you have a goose egg, you can still have trauma inside.
Yes, especially in the temple area, and considering the angle of that camera, we couldn't see how he hit his head, but it definitely looked like he smashed his head pretty hard.
His forehead, the whole complete, when he fell forward, he hit his head, his whole forehead.
Mm-hmm.
And you hit your forehead, when you hit hard, your brain is jolted in your head.
Yeah.
It could be a severe head trauma and no one even knows.
Yeah. And not only that, but the ridges inside your brain are very sharp and rigid. So they can do a lot of trauma to the brain.
I just hope he's found.
I do too.
For his mother's sake. When she broke down in that news conference, I cried along. I mean, I was almost in tears. I have a son.
Yeah.
But he also has a learning disability and bipolar. And I just thank God that he doesn't drink. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah.
And it's not, this ain't the only college students. There was 3 college students where I lived that died due to crystal meth.
Yeah.
So it's really bad out there.
Yeah, it is. And I think we're, I think this is some attention that maybe Nashville doesn't necessarily want, but they're getting it. It's time for them to clean it up and make it more safe for their tourists. And
They need to wake up.
having
They need to wake up.
a drug den literally down the street from where, people have no knowledge of it and can literally make a wrong turn and just disappear. We've got a problem. We got
a big problem in Nashville, and they need to clean it up, and they need to wake up before another one, forgot to give me for saying that police is not happening again. I just hope they find Riley.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful that Nashville, I mean, I thought it was bad in my state. I mean, they're doing drug busts every single day. I mean, they're arresting like 10, 12, up to 20, up to 30 people in my home state.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really bad here. I just imagine how bad it is in Nashville. They need to wake up.
Yeah, everybody does. We need to stop. I think this problem we're having with these substances are just they're degrading the human being. They're just degrading them to the point that they don't even consider other human beings or their rights. They're all about themselves. It's a sickening thing. It's hard to watch your family member go through, and then they wind up on the streets doing these crimes against other people to get their fix. It's bad. And for law enforcement to tell us not to even look at that possibility when he went into this really horrible area, and when he went into this really horrible area, he never came out of it. I'm sorry. I believe foul play. Until they prove me otherwise, I'm taking the side of foul play.
Well, definitely. You're talking about a drug addict who would literally know where to lie, will rip off their own mother just to get a fix. And some of them do what they call drug overdose. They overdose on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And some that live and some that don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, drugs are horrible. It destroys the person they used to be.
Yeah.
Do they understand that? I mean, it's like they need to clean up the streets.
Yeah, it's not just about turning the spigot off. Once they turn the spigot off and say, let's say lock down the border and get this substance issue under control, it's not fixing the problem, because you could still have all these people that have this problem. They need to have facilities to help fix the people, to help get them off these substances.
Yeah,
taking the substances away is not fixing the problem.
No, it's not. It's just getting worse over time. It's not helping the person who's doing them. I mean, they're taking their life away. Each time they use drugs, they're destroying their internal organs. The one fentanyl pushed them in what they call a zombie state.
Yeah.
There were several people that were found on the street dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yo, man, when are you going to wake up and smell the
There's
coffee?
a whole street of people. I think this one creator does in Pennsylvania, possibly. I can't remember where it is. And
it's Philadelphia. And
yeah.
We just did a big, huge bust in Philadelphia. They arrested, this is no lie, over 100 people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like they're actively, openly using this stuff in the streets and walking around. Like, where's the law enforcement? If nothing more, I don't want addicts, going to jail because of that. I want them to get help. But if that's the only help you can provide, then provide it. Save a life. Throw them in jail.
I think there was nurses and people going out there and doing bandages because they have flesh-eating bacteria that is being caused from drugs that they were doing on the street. And I watched the video you were talking about. It's like it's in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, there's there's drug busts. You could take half them off the street, but there's still some back there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me run. We got some other people calling in, so I didn't mean to cut you short, but we're going on 13
minutes.
That's
okay.
All right, love.
Thank you for talking to me, Betty. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. God bless you.
You too.
Bye-bye. Well, hello, Mama Bullhorn. How are you doing this wonderful morning?
Oh, good morning. I'm still sleeping too much. I don't know what's going on with me. I usually have insomnia, And here lately, I slept for 2 hours yesterday in the afternoon, and I never do that.
Huh.
I don't know what's going on with me. But anyways, I have something that came to me, and it's outside the box, and it's a possibility. I know we saw him fall, and he fell so hard, he had to have injured the inside of his head, either with a concussion or a bruise. Well, a concussion is a bruise, but something more severe. He could have hurt his neck. But what if the friends did find him?
I thought about that too.
What if the friends did find him and didn't know what really happened and thought they were the contributors to his passing? What if that one of those cars was them?
Well, I hope it's nothing like that, because that means that a lot of young kids are going to be in a lot of trouble. So I haven't gone there yet. I think it's, it's a possibility. And I did think of that, especially when they said, when that homeless guy turned around. That was one of my first comments. So I wonder if his friends found him. But
yeah, exactly. That's what popped into my mind.
Yeah, but they would have had with them being right there 3 blocks and on the strip, they would have had them coming back with him. They would have had him going into the hotel, and they've got none of that.
Oh, really? Well, no, I mean, he was already gone. They may have put him someplace.
Well, he would have still had, nah, that doesn't make sense. He wouldn't have expired in their car. I think something happened to him down there at the River Walk.
Well, it's sad.
Mhm.
It is so sad. And people have to think outside of the box.
Mhm. I agree, but see, another thing would be is if his friends had found him, why would they have turned his phone off? Nobody would have just jumped right to the turning the phone off. Like the phone went dead for the last time 6 minutes after him having contact with a law enforcement officer.
Well, same for his watch. His watch should be pinging too. So, yeah. But who knows?
Mhm.
Who knows?
And was he even wearing the watch that night? I mean, I got to go back and look at the footage and see if that watch was even being worn that night. I don't know if it was. Oh, let me look at some video footage. Let me just get some. Riley Strain.
He may have broke it when he fell. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see if he's wearing it. Let me see. Video surveillance. I don't know if I'll even be able to see it.
Well, Bug says he was wearing the watch.
Yeah, well,
Indiana
that's
says he had his watch on.
Yeah, but unless we were actually physically there, but I have to think that because I've heard about the watch before, so I have to think that it was on him, but I never asked the question, are we sure? You know what I'm saying? So that would be my only concern is, are we for sure he was wearing it? Because I know the rumor was going around, but I haven't seen anybody focus in on his arm to confirm that he had it on that night, just that he did. I would think that they would know what he was wearing, but I keep thinking they're frat boys that were drinking, how much do they know? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they remember. I don't know. I just don't know.
Susanna's saying he did have his iPhone watch, but it wasn't set up correctly. Oh, that's sad.
Oh, it wasn't set up because mine. I got mine. Mine's charging right now, but since I got the new phone, it hasn't. I haven't had it set up on my Fitbit app in forever. I mean, it counts for the days and it keeps my time, but it doesn't register my steps or anything on my app. So I got to connect it.
Well, that's all I had to say, except I love you.
I love you too, Mommy.
And I love everybody out there. And give a thumbs up, y'all. She's worth the free acknowledgement.
but not the monthly subscription.
I just give them monthly.
I'm just joking. And you donated your first gift membership yesterday, Mom.
Yeah,
Aww.
I was figuring, I need to jump in both feet. So, I do support you behind the curtain.
I know you do. You do. I love you, Mom.
And are you going to Orlando?
I don't know, because this is the deal. We already know what's going on with her case. She's been found. He's in jail. I want to know what's going on with her mom, but we do have an active missing person that hasn't been found. So I'm trying to balance out whether I want to go to Tennessee and start helping in the search effort.
Give Aunt Susie a ringy dingy, and she's a hop, skip, and a jump from Nashville. So,
all right.
All right.
All right, Mommy.
Oh, I love you.
I love you too.
Have a great hump day.
You too. You too. Don't get tore up by that cat. Hell cat.
Oh, the hell cat. Oh my gosh. I just stay away from him.
He needs to grow up a little bit more.
Orange essence. I have some orange essence oil that kind of repels him. So it's working.
You act like he's a mosquito.
All right.
All right, Mom. I love you.
I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, the cat's teething, okay? It's a kitten. It's my fur brother. Ma, you're calling me on FaceTime. I can't answer. But I think she's butt dialing me on FaceTime. But anyway, so he's teething. And apparently my mom has become his teething toy, okay? So she came over here the other day, and her whole arm was one big scab. I mean, little scabs, but the whole arm. I'm like, Mom, what is this cat doing to you? I'm like, she's like, it just jumps over. He starts playing with me. I'm like, you need to pop that cat's head. I said, that cat starts doing that to me. I don't know if that cat's going to survive. I'm just joking. We love animals, right? But I just looked at my mom's arm, and it's just got scratches and bites all in it. I'm like, good gracious. So now she's trying to repel the cat until the cat's through the teething stage. So if you're wondering like why she's bathing in orange peel oil, it's because she's trying to repel the cat. She's trying to taste so bad that the cat quits biting her. Gotta love animals. My new fur brother is just as spicy as Bullhorn Betty, so she should be used to it by now. So that's really all I have on this strain case. We don't really have a whole lot to go over. I'll be doing little short lives. I'm going to start doing kind of what I do over on TikTok over here during the day, so I can get you guys some bursts of information as it becomes available to me. So I'm going to be doing like maybe 5-10 minute lives over here throughout the day as information comes available. Just to let everybody know, we're migrating from the crime stories. I'm going to start putting crime stories back on to my crime stories channel. But our main channel for all these breaking cases is our main channel, Bullhorn Betty, not Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. So I'd really like to get everybody migrated over to our main channel, because starting Monday, I'm not going to be running this show on both channels. I'm going to get my channels back to where they need to be. This was just a temporary situation because of what we were dealing with at the time. So now we need to migrate back over to the main channel. This channel is not going to be ran live starting next Monday. Next Monday, we're off this channel. This channel will be for my crime stories. These are my Ted Bundys. These are my Robert Longs. These are my, these are the stories. These are cases that have already happened, either serial killers or what have you. And they're just the stories, they're not the work. Some of these stories are going to be cold cases. Some of these stories are just going to be about the cases. It's going to be the crime stories, right? So anyways, guys, I appreciate all the support. You could be on both channels. I want you to be on both channels. People that are all just Bullhorn Betty, you need to be converting over to crime stories as well and subscribing to that channel, because that channel is going to have some cool stuff coming out on it when we start producing the videos and getting those videos up. Summer Wells, the documentary on Summer Wells that I was aggressive and thought I'd have it done in 2 weeks. Yeah, okay. It's my first production, okay? So it ain't happening, okay? I'm going to be lucky if I have that out by the end of the year, okay? I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of work that goes into it to get it right. I did not realize it. Now that I'm realizing it, I'm like, what did I get myself into? But I know by the time it's done, it's going to be beautiful. Well, that's Crime Stories is going to be over on Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. It's not going to be on our main channel. So if you're going to want those types of content, you're going to want to be on both channels. If you are a political person and you like political stuff, you like avocation, you like comedy, you like political comedy, hit up Bullhorn Betty for President. All right, Bullhorn Betty for President. I've been working on that. I stopped on that while I was trying to figure out what I'm going to do with these two channels. Now that we figured out what we're going to do with these two channels, that's what we're going to do. We're diversifying across all social media platforms. We're running right now on X. X is building up a good following, morning following on there. So I know that we're going to be hitting our numbers for monetization over there probably in the next month or two. So I'm really excited about that. So thank you for all the people that have started watching this show on X. That's why I started bringing it to you. And don't worry, when we go back to our main channel here on YouTube, I will not be removing it from X. We'll still be running live on X every morning as we build up our audience over there. So thank you guys from the X family. It's nice to see you all. Lastly, we're going to be going over is Maddie Soto. Like my mom said, she wanted to know if I was going to be going over to Kissimmee. I very well might go over there. It depends. I just got to check out the budget once we get the car back and see what we can do with the budget I've got for the rest of the month. And once we figure that out, we'll put together a plan. But I really think our efforts are going to be more impactful in Nashville, where there's an active missing child. At the grand scheme of things, I'm very, very saddened by the Madeline Soto case, but she's no longer missing. The culprit, at least one of them, potentially is behind bars right now. And the reason why I say potentially is because we got a 50-50 split here in my chat of who thinks Jennifer Soto is guilty or had knowledge of this or not. We've had victims of both sides of the aisle, victims that have had the same type of scenario happen to them. Some told their mom didn't believe. Some kept it a secret for many years and didn't divulge it until many years later, and nobody even had a clue. So there is a possibility that mom has no clue. When we start looking at the evidence, the true evidence of this case, we find out that the abuse was happening during the summer months. And it seems to me that it does that because it was the summer months. It kind of gives a little more weight that she may not have known, because it seems like he would have had the most access to the victim during those months when she was no longer in school. So we don't know what happened. We don't know what mom knows. But at the end of the day, the assailant is behind bars, and he did some really disturbing stuff to this young girl dating back to that we can see on paper, 8 years old. 8 years old, and Plunder was able to find a photo of one of the pictures of Maddie on Stefan's shoulders, literally a day after one of the first events that were notated that happened to her. And it's a very hard and tough topic to discuss, so we're not going to discuss the actual abuses that happened to her. We're going to keep this conversation as general as possible when it comes to Maddie Soto, out of respect for the young girl. And if we find out Jen is any part of this, I will be going after Jen with everything that this channel has, because how dare you? But I don't believe that's the case. I believe we're going to find out that, she probably knew that there was some kind of disruption between the relationship and between her daughter and Stefan, but probably didn't know what it was. Probably thought it would, definitely, I don't think she would have thought it was this. She might have just thought it was a stepfather, stepchild, disagreement. Don't tell me what to do. You're not my daddy type of stuff. I doubt that the mother thought. She just doesn't seem like, look, guys, I'm telling you, I see a lot of pieces of shit. I could be totally wrong about this case, but I have stood face to face with a murderer before. You know what I'm saying? A murderer. And I'm telling you, I've seen evil. I've seen bad. I've seen disgusting. I've seen despicable. I've seen, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm seeing. I don't see this monster in this woman when I look at her. Now, granted, that's through the computer, and you know how I feel about that. I don't like it one bit. I like the vibe. I like to know what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. I like the bodies. I like to be belly to belly with somebody, eyeball to eyeball with somebody. That is when I truly feel that I get the true vibe I'm supposed to be getting. Because again, I tell you about this thing called instincts that we all have. I trust my instincts and I trust my gut. Is it wrong? Yes, I'm a human being. So I put that into consideration that I could be wrong about a whole host of stuff. A whole host of stuff. But this one I feel like I'm spot on for, and I would have never been able to analyze this case the way I did without Paola Miranda Rosa's case. Paola Miranda is a woman that disappeared from Waukeva Springs. We went out there looking for her. Law enforcement thought she was eaten by a gator. I don't know. I truly believe she was abducted and ST'd or HT'd. That's just truly what I believe. There's no indication for me to believe it, but you know what? Everybody's going to believe them because they're government officials, right? And I'm just Bullhorn Betty. But we met a lot of survivors from ST because of that case, because we were feeling like this might not be a gator attack. We had no evidence of a gator attack. We had no commotion in the water. We had no, even though people were out there, people even took pictures of her walking in the water. So there were people out there, but nobody heard a commotion of a gator. You feel it, you come up, they let you come up. They just don't drag you down and keep you down. They spin you. You kind of come up, you're splashing, you're gasping for air. They take you back down, they spin you until you're gone. It's not a pretty sight to see, but it's a very noticeable one to see. And nobody saw anything that day. She has a blanket, a towel, like she was wet because she was in the water, draped over her back seat like it was drying. Remember, they didn't find this car for days later. She had flip-flops there. Her phone was in the car. Her keys were in the car. Her money was in the car. Her shoes were in the car. And so was her towel. But yet she walked 1.5 miles to Otter Creek without any of these things, got in the water, and a gator got her. So I would never have known about children keeping things like this from their family until I heard many stories just like that. Many stories of these victims talking about how they never told a soul. They were terrified of telling a soul. They were scared. They were threatened. They were threatened by other things. They weren't just threatened with their life. They were threatened that they were going to go to a school, or they were going to get this taken away from them, or they were going to be grounded, or a number of things that kids don't understand but are controlling mechanisms to control children. So, I would have never known this had it not been for that case and that case alone. I would be on the same vein as everybody else saying, Mom had to know, Mom had to know, Mom had to know. But again, it comes down to the experiences we all have through our walk in life. And this walk took me to Paola Miranda Rosa out in Osceola County, just so happens where this young girl lost her life. And that's when I learned about the ST and the HT aspect of this abduction of women in the area. So that's why I came out so aggressively for her, because I have to know, because of the knowledge that I have, that there is possibilities of these girls suffering in silence for years and years and years and nobody knowing about it. I have to be absolutely certain that this mother had no knowledge of this or had knowledge of this before I go after her, because I am not going to add insult to injury of this woman losing her 13-year-old daughter and me accusing her of knowing what was going on with her daughter. I have a moral problem with that. I can't do that. And the information that is available to each and every one of us, including mainstream media, does not indicate she had any knowledge whatsoever. And never mind the fact that there has been no arrest in this case just yet, including the mother. I have a funny feeling when we find out who's being charged with this, she may get charged, but her charges might be something like lying to law enforcement, obstruction of justice. I don't think her charges are going to be concealing the commission of a crime. See what I'm saying? So just be cautious. I'm not saying that mom doesn't have some fault in this, but I want to know what fault she has before we start accusing this woman of knowing what happened to her daughter, because I've seen a lot of monsters in my days. And this woman, despite what the behavior panel says, this woman does not look like that type of monster to me. And again, if I have to eat that, I have to eat that. If she is culpable, it will be very highly upsetting for me. But they have to bring something more than what they got. That's really it. So that's all I have on Madeline Soto case. I haven't gone over her charges. I don't anticipate going over her charges. Everybody here on my channel knows the charges are horrific, knows the charges are brutal, knows that this child was hurt very badly, repeatedly by somebody that she trusted. And I pray to God that if he is convicted, our new law that Governor DeSantis put in place, I hope that one of those crimes falls under this new law, because I don't want to see this guy ever again. I think he's been a predator his entire life. We heard some stories about him being in a shed, watching his friend's mother, taking pictures of his friend's mother. This guy is a creep. This guy is a predator, and he preyed on this family. And you're never going to fix that man. That man is unfixable. He's unredeemable. He hurt a child and most likely killed her. And I cannot forgive that. And I pray to God that if he's found guilty, the last breath in him comes out of him, courtesy of the state of Florida. That truly is what I want to happen. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I really could care less how many people want to run with this story about how I want this man dead. I do if he did this. I'm going for his head and his penis, if you really want to know the truth. So anyways, guys, you have a great day. God bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to rock it out with your coffee beans out. And don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We are watching each and every case that we do, especially this week, whether it's Sebastian, whether it's Riley Strain, whether it's Maddie Soto. These are things that are all preventable. This was one of those things where the pound of cure is so great, the ounce of prevention would have been a benefit. We say no to online bullying and you being an online piece of garbage all by yourself. Each and every day you have a choice to make your world a little better and a little brighter. Think about what you're doing before you do it. God bless you and have a great day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.